welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with obviously another hat show, and obviously in today's we will obviously be talking about the Mansfield defeat. Obviously, we watched it together, Dad. We'll be dissecting it a bit more along with the player ratings. We're also going to talk on two players for me that should definitely be dropped for the next game, and I'll be very, very disappointed if they're not dropped. And then obviously we will touch on. I want to touch on the formation, right? In terms of how should we go across it with players we have available right now. But before we get into any of that, Dad, how have you been despite the football?
Yeah, not too bad. Still got a bit of a cold and that, but yeah, not too bad.
Good. So, yeah, let's get straight into it. So, obviously, the Mansfield game, going into it in terms of the formation, it did look like a 4-3-3, when it come out. But as the game was played, it looked like a 4-2-3-1, which obviously we saw a lot towards obviously Bloomfield's end of time. So obviously Keeley in goal, Makoso right back, Anderson, Mengi, Naismith. The two you had Lamine and Saville, Kadora on the right, ALLI on the left, Clark in the middle of that, and then Wells up front. As for your bench, you had Bramall, Nakamba, Nelson, Nordos, Richards, Shea, Yates. So looking at that lineup, there is obviously the worries just naturally. Makoso at right back, you're trying to shoehorn a player there. Obviously what we see under Bloomfield, really in that sense. And yeah, I mean, other than that, I guess looking at it, it wasn't too bad. Maybe Wells as well up front, just giving, one up front anyway, and his form's been awful this season, let's be honest. For a player that scored decent, amount of goals in the Championship, absolutely poor, like I said, in the match reaction. But yeah, looking at that lineup, Dad, what did you make of it when it did drop?
Yeah, it was a bit. Basically, they've gone there and copy and pasted the team pretty much, just and see if what they've seen in training and this, that, and the other. New manager kind of bounce is going to work, and yeah, Welsh, yeah, he ain't been in the greatest form. Did he go away as well? He recently and just come back. Someone saying about excuse me, personal problems and that, but whatever. Do you know what I mean? He's more than capable of doing the job. So, yeah, that you've got to see the players. You've got to see what works and what don't work, haven't you? So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me really that he didn't change it drastically, but he probably will make some big adjustments for the next game, I would have thought.
Yeah, no, hopefully. For sure, and hopefully, like I said in the reaction as well, you got Chris Powell alongside him, telling him, what's recommended. Really, someone with his know-how and experience, should have seen really what is not going to work for the next game in terms of players playing. For sure, starting anyway. Moving into the first half, again, a lot of games at home have been like this. I felt where we haven't started off great. Obviously, they had a shot. Keeley saved it, but I'll be honest, as soon as they got the shot away, I thought it was going in, to be quite honest with you. It was a very, very poor start from us once again. And same issues, in the sense of so sloppy on the ball. I mean, a lot in times, right? The ball will get played to someone and they'll just not be able to keep it for longer than flipping 2 seconds. It's just so bad. So bad. And it was just frustrating. And we grew into the half as it went on. Obviously Clark done very well, had the shot, obviously good save from their keeper onto the post. Originally, when we was on the watch along, I thought it just hit the post straight up. But looking back at it, it was a great save from their goalkeeper. But ALLI had 2 good chances. For me, he's got to be doing better. Especially that first one from the corner. Obviously, they're both from the corner, but the first initial shot, he's got to do better for me. And Clark was only the positive spark in this game. Everyone's been saying it. He was the only positive spark, the only one that was really trying for the team and trying to make things happen. And, obviously did get us the penalty. which we obviously did miss. Wells. Now, stepping up to it, it was going to be interesting to see who was going to take it, because for me, you could have given it to Clark because he earned it, or you could have given it to Kadoa. People around the ground saying there was a bit of an argument between Kadoa and Wells for it. Now, like I said in the reaction, Wells' penalty against Doncaster, it was a good save. I can't really moan at him for that one, but this one, you're not even going to test the goalkeeper. It was so poor, and he's got to be off penalties now. Simple as that. Everyone else has been saying it. Got to be off penalties. And then obviously he done that other mistake in the game, which then led to their first goal. From that moment in, he's got to be coming off. He's got to be coming off. It's continuation of mistakes. How many mistakes does he need to do to come off? On top of that, like I said, he's been poor this season. 1 goal, 1 assist. 1 goal against Plymouth, penalty. Good penalty, but you ain't done nothing from open play. And then obviously the assist was when we played Peterborough, and their goalkeeper's crap. He's not their main keeper. So frustrating from him. And, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to be overcritical of Wilshere, but hopefully going forward, they've learnt stuff like that, because, a lot of reason why fans are frustrated is because we've seen that continuously. We've seen the player have an absolute shit game and they just don't get taken off at the right time. What saved Bloomfield was them substitutions against Blackpool, the timing. For me, it should have been a similar thing here. I'll be honest, it really, really should have been, because, you're asking, yourselves a mountain to climb, when you're not taking him off. And, again, I don't want to be too critical of Wilshere, but he did obviously say after the game he was instrumental. I think that's the complete wrong wording. I mean, yes, you're not going to stick pelters on him, when you've just become the new manager, but that's not the right wording at all. Like, you just be honest. Just say, he knows he could do slightly better. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah, I didn't like that, I'll be honest. And that is what cost us the game, in my opinion, because, after our not so good spell in the opening, sort of quarter of the game, we done all right. We had a few chances, but then he has the poor penalty, and then he does that. So, yeah, for me, he should not be playing against Northampton. He should be nowhere near the starting 11, and I'll be fuming if he is. Absolutely fuming. So, yeah, poor game for Rocky Wells, wasn't it, Dad?
Yeah, it weren't great. That Mansfield come, Nigel Clough, as I said before the game, experienced manager at this level, gets his teams up. They got a lot of experienced players in their team as well. Made some shrewd signings. I thought we might have been looking at Tyler Roberts when he was, available. But you could see that, some of the ideas already coming across. They were playing the ball on the floor a lot more, and we did have a lot more possession. And we were a bit unlucky not to score. Penalty, yeah, should definitely have done better. I mean, pass, yeah, and this is what happens, isn't it? Game after game, there's big mistakes like that, which you might get away with at a higher level. Do you know what I mean? But in this league, you're not, because the teams are constantly going to be waiting for that. And it's a good finish as well by their player. Mengi was a bit, stranded. Didn't know which way to turn, but he's not. He's hard. He's not. He wants to move. He wants out anyway. But yeah, I mean, it worked. He had a few touches early on, Wells, but so did everyone else. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't instrumental. He was just part of, us going forward, like other players were. Do you know what I mean? Other players had a lot more touches and probably were a lot more instrumental, if you want to use that. But he's still learning as a manager. You know what I mean? And he's saying that, but he ended up taking him off anyway. So, but yeah, it's just wording, isn't it? Really, especially if he, apparently he's got personal issues or whatever, then you're going to be a bit soft on him. So I do think that Jack can be like that. But obviously, if you piss him off, then I think then we consistently turn out shit performances, you're going to get dropped, and that's the way it should be. But yeah, from then it was just like, here we go again. And it kind of wasn't it? Second half, they should have had a penalty before that. I think it was who was it? Clumsy challenge anyway, proper clumsy challenge like that. They were lucky. They didn't get a penalty then. And then the handball. He had his arms out. It wasn't super close, you know. You see him give them. That's the way it is now. And then I knew that Roberts would be putting that away. And then from then on, we just sort of dominated possession. But I didn't even have a shot on target in the whole second half. Changes were made, didn't really affect it. I mean, Nelson, come on, trying. Do you know what I mean? But for me, with Nelson, I think he doesn't have too much support around him when he's trying to do these things. And he has two man on it, and he just gets taken off the ball a bit too easy sometimes. I think. Again, he'll get better at that, in my personal opinion. I think he's I have seen him win battles as well, but you know, when he's been at the club, he's been in and around like the first team and that. But in them stages, we've been in the Premier League, we've been in the Championship. Do you know what I mean? We haven't been at this kind of level where you've got no time. So you got to, you know, use your strength a little bit more, that little half a second quicker or whatever you got to do. But yeah, just ended up being same old. And ALLI was in the second half. Yeah, he was getting on the ball. Gets on the ball every fucking game. So what? It was some of his decision making. You know when you press the wrong button on FIFA when you're in the penalty box, instead of passing it across, you pass it back to your fucking defender. What he done that, and then he had an opportunity to shoot. He just sort of, do you know what I mean? He's trying too hard. I think his confidence may be gone a little bit as well. But you just got to, you know, continue with the same thing over and over again. It's considered madness, yeah. So like, you got to make them little changes. Just put them on the bench, like. And you got, you know, he's saying about Walters, for instance, he's come back for you, but he's got to earn his place in the team. They've all got to earn their fucking place in Jack Wilshere's team. Like, do you know what I mean?
And the problem, just
got technical ability, a bit of talent, and that. If you're not producing with it, and someone else comes on and does what they need, do you know what I mean? Get the ball in the box and whatever. Then they need to be starting. But I do think he'll go through at the back for the next game, because you've got to do it, because you've got 3 centre backs.
No right back.
And then Naismith in left back. Not in, you know, he's all right in the comfortable games. And made him club captain. Wilshere obviously didn't, but it kind of makes you like, yeah, you got to play him, you got to play him. But no, you ain't. You just switch the captaincy to Clark. Do you know what I mean? I just think Naismith's better suited when we're more in commanding games now. Because when we're struggling at times, it just doesn't work with him. Do you know what I mean? Where he can be consistent and things like that. And I just think at left back, yeah, I'd just prefer to see him. I thought he looked all right when he played CDM for a period against Cambridge. I know we lost that game, but, you know, that's just ball over the top, mate. But at times, I thought he looked all right there. And he's a utility player anyway, you know, so just look up what positions he's played in the past. But I just feel like left back, you need Bramall there for me. Do you know what I mean? That's his position. And he hasn't, I don't think he's really played in it. It's just been sort of coming forward now. So it'll be interesting to see what the next lineup is. I do think things will all get better, because I do, you know, the possession, I know we've had that before, but we weren't too panicky with it. It was just sort of passing it, trying to be calm on the ball, which is what he wants. But then our striker, we've got no one, because our strikers are performing, well, Nordas, in my opinion, pretty poorly. There's not that outlet. We missed that. Do you know what I mean? When we had Morris and Elijah, yeah, we used to pump it up to them at times, but they were outlet there. Do you know what I mean? You'd be trying to do that, and then they could bring other players into play and stuff. You know, the only one who looks like doing that is not even a striker, and he's our top scorer, and he's Jordan Clark. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just the same old rubbish, really. Individual crap mistakes keep costing us. I mean, you look at the Plymouth game, you look at the Lincoln game, and it's just stuff that's just frustrating. And for me, I said it on the watch long. Wells should have been off. He should have been off. And even if he does have, the personal issues, why is he starting the flipping game? It's stupid.
Yeah, it could be just rumour. Do you know what I mean? These are the things.
It could be, but yeah. I don't get it. When we got two strikers on the bench, and I know Yates ain't been up to the level we'd like to see yet, but I'm a bit 50-50 on that one because I feel the way we try and play with him don't benefit him. Why are you trying to lump balls to him? He's not known for being a player that brings the ball down, brings the ball down from the air. He's good with the ball at his feet. And in Nordos, yes, like I've said loads of times, he's not going to get you loads of goals, but he'll be more impactful up front by himself than flipping Wells. I mean, he's been useless for us. Let's be honest. I don't care. I don't even look at his age. I look at him at how he done in the Championship. He was a good player in the Championship. Obviously, Bristol City fans, they were gutted. I remember some going on my TikTok page when I spoke about him coming to us. And they're like, "Oh, what? I didn't even know he was going." Do you know what I mean? Like, they were gutted, absolutely gutted, and he's been disappointing. And again, I don't think we should be playing one up front. I think it's pathetic that we play one up front, to be quite honest with you, considering we got two strikers, excuse me, we've got loads of strikers. You need to be playing two up front. It's ridiculous for me. It's just, it don't matter who we've got in charge. Playing one up front is ridiculous. I remember coming out of that Sheffield Wednesday game, and I always have to allude to it, last season, we won that game, and I was saying we have to go two up front, and that was under Edwards. So we need to be changing it up, and I agree with you, Dad. I think we've got to go back to a back three, and some people might not like that, but we ain't got a right back. We've got players that can play wing back, and even with Wilshere saying, Walters has got to earn his place. Well, my problem with that is don't play a back four then, because you're going to keep shoehorning centre backs into right back, or you're hoping on Hakeem back, you're hoping on flipping Isaiah Jones. No, this has been our problem. We keep waiting for players to come back. It's not on. We're doing it with the players we got now. Yeah, everyone goes on about the squad. Oh, the squad's so good. The squad's so this, that. Well, let's flipping utilise it then. Do you know what I mean? It's just so frustrating. So frustrating. And I don't like to get this angry, but it's the same rubbish over and over and over again. And, Northampton play tomorrow. Obviously, play them on a weekend. On my birthday, probably let me down on my birthday again. Do you know what I mean? I'm just not looking forward to it at the moment. And the fan base is so split. Probably more split than it's ever been. And some people not agree with the boos and that. I mean, me personally, I don't mind booing as long as you're not being over the top with it. I don't mind it because these players need it. They're getting paid all this money, to stink the place out. And I'm not hearing, oh, it's a new team. I'm not hearing that. Look at other teams, that have either come up, from League Two, or look at Cardiff. Look how well they're doing. We should be doing well now. We've had one good performance against a Burton side who just didn't give us nothing. In the league, I'm referring to. Obviously, you could say the Barnet game as well, but in terms of the league, that's not good enough. We're nearly quarter of a way through a season. It's actually not good enough, and that is the thing. If we perform well, and narrowly lost games, like we've said loads of times recently, Dad, people would not mind that. Still be frustrated, but it wouldn't be to this level, that leads to these boos, that leads to all this, this stuff. It's just not good enough. Seriously. But we'll go through some comments anyway. Let's go through some comments. So, big up to Paul in the chat. He agrees with me. Wells and ALLI need to be dropped. Yeah, they got to be. And this is where, I'm hoping Chris Powers has seen that game and you've got to be dropping them. Seriously, I'll be fuming. I'll be fuming if we see any of them in the starting 11. Seriously. Evening, everyone. Big up to yourself, Phil, mate. Yeah, he's not, but it just seems like that. I'll be honest. Afternoon, says Jay. Good to see you in, mate. Jay is a member. He did pick up the membership. One of the many memberships that Ben gifted the other day. Do become a member if you can. Like I say, we will be doing a members only live spin the wheel. You get a shirt of your team you support with name and number towards the end of the season. So yeah, do become one if you can. I think you're referring to Naismith. Yeah, I mean, I agree, mate. He's better as a centre back. And that's the thing that annoys me, right? If you play four at the back, if you play the way we play, right, you like your fullbacks. In fact, scrap that. Whether we're playing three at the back or four at the back, whoever the wing backs are, fullbacks, whoever, you'd like to see him bombing up and down. Well, that's how it comes across to me. So why are you putting someone who's not got pace? I don't understand it. And again, I'm not critical of Wilshere in that. It's in terms of, obviously this was like a watching game for him to see what to experience. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just the other, going on from Bloomfield, he's sort of just went with that for his first game just to see what's what, But, and that all stems from him doing that stupidness. Oh, mate, seriously. Big up to Tay, big up fellas, up the Luton. Carl had a go for sure, but legs are gone. Yeah, he's not performing to the level he should be. I mean, he's been pretty... I mean, he's good at crossing the ball. I said it on the watch along the other day. You look at a lot of our centre-backs in that game the other day, right? That tried to cross the ball in, it's poor. He can cross a ball in. And like you said, Dad, I thought he had a decent spell at CDM against Cambridge. But in terms of playing left-back, yeah, it's with the way we want to play, they'll say, oh, we want to be on the front foot, want to be attacked. No, you don't put him there then. You put him at centre-back. You put him at centre-back. You take Mengi out for me because he's been poor. Been absolutely poor. The amount of games, right, he'll do one good thing and then he'll just be so caught out, it's ridiculous. And that happened when they hit the crossbar early on in the second half. His positioning was poor. And again, you look at... I don't want to be critical of Makosa himself because we're shoehorning him somewhere he shouldn't be playing. But again, he's so open on that right-hand side. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Jay says 4-1-3-2 is the formation I'd like to see. I mean, yeah, it's not too bad. Obviously you got your two up front, but like I say, my worry personally is I just don't want to keep seeing a centre back into right back, or we're hoping on this player to come back. This, in Hakeem or Sy Jones, whoever. I don't want to see that. I just want, with what we got now, if none of them players are back, obviously Hakeem and Sy Jones I'm referring to, I know Walter's obviously got a few more weeks, then I want to see three at the back again. I want to see it. You see that it works. You see that it works with other teams. It just, yeah, it's frustrating. 4-3. Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. Yates needs to play with someone. That's like all our strikers. Whoever's starting, they need to play with someone. And again, as much as Wells has been very disappointing for me, he needs someone alongside him. It's crazy. Yates, I felt the same. I mean, when we saw that spell, yes, the opposition...
They all do it. We've seen them all play up front on their own and all struggle on their own.
Yeah.
Nordas against, was it Cambridge?
Yeah, it was actually.
It's just pumping it up to him. I get it, he's big and that, but no support. He's good at laying it off and that. So, yeah, definitely need two up front with them strikers.
Mm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Because, yeah, the opposition weren't great. But when we did see a glimpse of two up front, when we saw Yates and Nordos against Barnet, they worked well together. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, Nordos is not going to get loads of goals. He needs someone alongside him. But the lack of minutes he's getting, it's a joke. He's been our best striker this season. He has been our best striker. You can't say anyone else has been, in my opinion. Yes, he probably should have scored a few more times, but he's creating the chances compared to the others, not really doing too much, especially Wells in particular.
I'd say he's had the most shots on target for us.
Yeah, I mean, look at that Blackpool game, right? And all the subs were impactful in that game, but he come on, he he bodied their player off the ball. Kadoa shot, got us a corner, and then I think that was the corner he had that header that went just wide. He probably should have put that target, but still, that's instant impact compared to the others. Nordus and Yates up front, I'd like to see. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree, mate. I totally agree with that. Phil says, I'd like to see a 4-4-2 back to basics. Yeah, talking about a player that we can play at right back, who I think could do all right there. But this is more so if like Shaden Morris is back. Is Kadoa. I think he could do a job there. He can play there, but I just look at Makoso and I just think he's a centre back. Stop putting him there. He had one good game against Doncaster there, but he's good at tackling. And I'm not going to be critical of him himself, but the amount of times he's getting caught out.
Doncaster are the least informed team at the moment as well. So.
Well, yeah. And they didn't really give us enough.
No,
I remember coming out of that game saying they, I expected them to do better.
They'll climb up the table.
Yeah.
But also, as touch on we've talked about free trans, but now there isn't really anyone out there for me. So I think we're going to have to sit for another couple of months till January, and we've got free spaces anyway. And then there will be players going. We guarantee it. I think Mengi will be off. For me, Lamine hasn't really hit the heights that.
Yeah, he was disappointing the other day, I'll be honest.
Don't forget, we potentially signed him for the Premier League. Is he showing that? Not for me. The players we have signed already, they're staying. Saville. I could see Longwick potentially going back to Wolves. We're stuck with the strikers. Obviously, we get Ethan Archer as well. A little bit of rawness. He's not going to be infected, if you like, with the rest of the sort of things that have been going on, so he can come in fresh. Maybe who's the other striker who's been on the bench? Maybe give him a go up front as well. Do you know what I mean? Or bring him on at least. The one from is it Gillingham?
I don't think he was on the bench the other day, actually.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, do you know what I mean?
He's been alright when he's come on, to be fair.
Yeah, he hasn't had enough time, and we've been through this before. We had it with Taylor, didn't we?
McAtee is another example. He was good for Bolton the other day, if anyone watched that. Huddersfield
ain't setting the world on fire anyway. Do you know what I mean? And I still think he's scored a couple of times this season. Probably, I think he had missed a sitter as well. But he's
I think that was the game he missed the sitter and then scored.
Yeah. So that's what's going to happen. So we just got to stick with it. I do think it will get better. I could already see, like I said earlier, you could see what we're trying to do. We were trying to be more calmer. We dominated, but they just had to defend, but they're in your faces. But if you can get the possession and threaten them, then that puts these kind of teams on the back foot. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we need to be doing. I'm sure that's what we will start doing. Can it get any worse? It can, but I don't think it will. I think it will start getting better from that. And then the January transfer window is going to be massive. Because if we really want to get some form to get between now and then, so we're in and around playoffs, then the January transfer window is critical, and then you can go for it. But other than that, we'll probably, at the moment, we're staying in this division. Because you need that good head start. You need that good confidence. And it is very close at the top, but between the top and us, it's not really. And we've lost a lot of games already for automatics. I've seen a couple of TikTok people saying that they still reckon we'll go up through the playoffs. I don't know, and he's not even a Luton fan either. But yeah, we definitely need two up front. That's what we've been working with. That's what's brought us kind of success previous years. Do you know what I mean? And I've never liked one up front, really. I don't like it. I don't even like it. Do you know what I mean? Haaland's got a lot of goals for Man City, but I think he'd have even more if there was two up front. honestly believe that, because there were certain games where you could watch Man City last season and they just weren't even passing it to him. Really, do you know what I mean? Because people don't cross it and stuff. Whatever. In this league, you cross it. We are starting. Also, I like the fact that we're just taking corners normally.
Yeah, that was positive the other day.
I think Savile and Clark. All right, Clark's better, but we haven't. I know it's hard to replace the quality of Doughty, but you do need like other options in there who can take these corners and stuff. And I'm sure that there's probably some players in there who can. I'd say Bramwell probably is one of them. But yeah, interesting. Like say forward to back, maybe Kadoa, but mate, he's primarily an attacking player, and you're just wasting him. And Wilshire's said about putting players where they're best to showcase their abilities and things. So, but they've kind of just copied it, settled, looked at analyze things and thought, well, this is kind of with a bit of confidence, this might work. They've seen it hasn't, and they'll do some more analysing. They'll see that we were more successful, funnily enough, even though people complain about it, including ourselves a little bit. We were better at defending the three at the back. So yeah.
Yeah. Big up to Jay. Totally agree, mate. You got to do that. He's not central. He's not central midfield. Like, it's ridiculous. He's a cam. He's a cam. I'm sick of seeing him, doing defensive stuff. Every time he goes forward, he looks like a threat. Even the other day, the only player that can hold his head up high the other day. The others, I mean, I thought Anderson started off all right, but then second half, rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. He was the consistent one, Clark. And we got to be careful because, if we don't improve, Jordan Clark's going in January. I don't care what anyone says. He's going in January. And what's pretty ironic to me, I reckon he will. Dealing with this shambolic, I will not be surprised. But, yeah, Nathan Jones signed him. Nathan Jones signing does well out of the team. Our typical is that. He's not flipping good enough. I feel sorry for the guy. I really do. I feel sorry for the guy because even when he's not started games, he's come on and he's done well. You look at the Blackpool game, you look at the Lincoln game, he was one of the more brighter sparks. I really feel sorry for him. Really, really feel sorry for him. And like a lot of people have said on social media, he can definitely play for any championship side. I totally agree. I think he's that good. We saw his glimpse in the Premier League when he obviously scored them two wicked goals against Man City in the FA Cup as well. Obviously scored in the playoff final in the 90 minutes. He's a top player. And for me, discontinued, just my personal opinion, I think it'd be off in January. I really, really do. So that's how I see it. Let me know if you do agree. Am I being a bit over the top or what? Do let me agree. I can't judge that, mate. It's one game and it was more of a scouting sort of game for him, to be quite honest with you. It wasn't really down to him really, just seeing what the team's like. And
yeah, I think
they've apparently trained, is how I'd say on that first game.
Yeah, well, I think you've got to give him 5 games to see what if what's been implemented and what's working. Do you know what I mean? You could already kind of see what he wanted to do, but it went to shit as soon as we fucked up. Basically, but we still maintained that possession, which was good. We weren't kind of panicky. We just up front, we were just like, well, there's just nothing. Do you know what I mean? And the players who expect it to come from, Kadoa and ALLI, just didn't as well.
And what annoys me about Kadoa as well, where they're putting him right. And again, he's just gone with what Bloomfield's gone with. But, you saw his cameo against Blackpool, on the left. Yeah. Then Bloomfield put him on the right against Stevenage. Yes, he started him, but put him on the right after he was so good on the left. I'm on the left, man. Like I'm hoping this week, at least Shaden Morris is back, because for me, if we are to, stick with the same formation, I'd be putting Morris on the right if he's back, like I say, and I'd be putting Kadoa on the left. Obviously, Clark in the middle of that, because Yeah, like you said earlier, Dad, Ali's trying too hard for me. Very, very disappointing. I mean, like I've said, he had that preseason, was actually training before the official preseason. We all thought he was going to be raring to go. He had a decent preseason. Obviously looked good against Tottenham, looked good against Southend. Things like that. And we thought, okay, he'll kick on. But in the league, not good enough. Not good enough. Let's be honest. So yeah, very, very disappointing. He's got to be dropped. He's got to be dropped again. He was last time when most of us called for it. It's got to happen again for me. So yeah, that's how I see it. But yeah, we'll get into the player ratings for this game. So obviously, do get involved in the chat as well. Keely in goal. I actually thought he was all right, to be fair. The first goal couldn't have done anything. It reminded me of the goal Elise scored when we played Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Very similar finish, in my opinion. And yeah, there was a moment he come out, but he come out, done the right thing. Wasn't complicating it. It was a better game from him. The two goals where he couldn't have done anything. Like I say, first goal was a great goal. And then the second goal was obviously a penalty, so it's 50-50 really. So yeah, for him, I actually thought he had an all right game compared to what I've seen, especially particularly recently. So I'll give him a 6.
Yeah, 6 average. I couldn't do anything about the goals. Was lively earlier on when he needed to be, but again, I've been thinking about this a little bit more. He's getting that like Kaminsky syndrome, isn't it? Where the defense in front of him just so unreliable that it just affects your confidence because you're the goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? You're the one that's fundamentally letting in the goal. So yeah, but yeah, much improved, and again, it was down to selection that we've been going with. He's not gonna if he makes a few proper clangers in game, Wilshere will be ruthless. I think. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just part and parcel of it. You got Shea at quality at club signed a new contract. He's obviously don't mind sitting on the bench, but if he's pushing in training, which obviously I'd say that he definitely is being a more experienced guy and stuff, then maybe he'll be giving up more opportunities. But we'll see. But yeah, I'll give him a 6. Second half, he had nothing to do apart from the penalty. Like they had a couple of chances, but we all the possession, but nothing other than that, and they were happy to deal with that.
Yep. Moving on to Makoso. Again, like I say, there's the moments where we're exploited, but again, I'm not going to put that down to him. I'm going to put it down to, shoehorning him into a position that's not ideal. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see it against Northampton, but I'm just sick of seeing it now, to be quite honest with you. We need to change it up, because it's not working. It's not working. As simple as that. So, yeah, as for me, Makoso, I'll just give him a 5.5.
I'll give him a 6. I don't think he was terrible. I think he did put a couple of good tackles in when he could get into the right position. I think he was involved in the pre-penalty where it probably should have been a penalty for them, and then obviously the handball. But yeah, at times that space is just not there because he's clearly not used to playing in that. Do you know what I mean? Unless you actually sit with a 5 at the back, and I'm talking 5 at the back with no wing back. Do you know what I mean? Or then maybe it'd be better with 3 central defenders as well. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, 6.5 I'll give him.
Yeah, because what I felt with Makoso as well, when we were playing a back 3, he actually covered that right-hand side quite well because obviously the wing back would be higher up. Whereas, when he's sort of here, like in the way he is now, it's not really natural to him. Whereas there, he's basically a centre back, but he's just higher.
I think he's able to read the game better.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And yeah, I just think it's much more beneficial to him.
I will say something now, although, I've been thinking about this as well a little bit. I'm saying that some of the players, like, they're not earning their shit. But some of these players, when he first come to us, he was, development kind of player. Yeah, don't forget, yeah, he's still quite young himself, and he got shoehorned into the team, done really, really well. Geeing up the crowd and remember the game against Tottenham as well. He was decent in that. So it affects their confidence as well, and that's what they're thinking. Why should I fight? I'm better than this, and I get it. I do get it, and it is frustrating. But sometimes I get it a little bit because they're not able to play their best football as well. And then there's some that clearly, like Mengi's, I think he wanted to go to the end of the Premier League season, definitely. And then he got injured.
100%. When he got that injury, he was so good.
I don't blame him. I don't. And then it's just been frustrating for him. And at times, you can see he's a good player, and he'll definitely be able to play in the Premier League, mate. For me. I could see him going Burnley. I could even see like Middlesbrough or something like that coming for him as well. So yeah, 6.5 from the coastline.
Yeah, we'll go for other ratings. Keeley 6 says Paul. Jay says 5. 6.5 from Makoso. Paul slightly jumps ahead to Anderson, 5.5. Yeah, we'll move on to Anderson now. Like I say, I thought he was all right in the first half, but second half, I mean, there's moments where he's getting caught out. He had a part to play in that moment where they hit the crossbar as well. You know, let's be honest in this game as well. You know, I know people were, you know, sort of going on about the way Mansfield was celebrating. At the end of the day, their fans are going into it saying they'd be happy to take a flipping draw. You know, it's embarrassing from our end that we haven't even scored a goal. And let's be honest, they could have scored 3 or 4. Let's be honest. They had that moment at the end of the first half, towards the end, I think it was, where, you know, I think they put it over. And we were like, wow, how did they not put that on target? They had that moment, obviously, early on, where they hit the crossbar. You know, they could have scored more, you know, and they didn't. And then by the time it got like later on in the game, they didn't really have to do much because they just knew, and we knew watching it, what type of game it was going to end up being. So, yeah, frustrating. And they definitely deserved it. So, credit to them. That's a massive win for them. And, they, you know, I feel not everyone, but I feel a lot of people were underestimating them going into it because at the end of the day, at two games unbeaten going into it, we were on fucking dire form. You know, let's be honest. So, yeah, that's what I'll say on that. But, yeah, in terms of Anderson's performance, I'd say started off all right, but then, you know, had his moments, which, you know, fans get frustrated with him. So I'll give him I'm going to go 5.5.
Yeah, give him a 5. It is another one who needs, I think, you know, his centre-back partner to be performing. You know what I mean? And he ain't been getting that. He did come back for the goal, you know, where it went onto the crossbar, sorry. Like say, where Mengi was like still in the deep, and probably put the guy off. And then obviously the handball, that's obviously not deliberate, but you know, his hands were in there. It killed the game for real. So yeah, but other than that, this season, you know, he's been all right. He needs to be in a settled team, mate. You know, you can see what it's done because he started off the season pretty well, and you know it seems to be petering out. But I think if he's part of a back three, maybe he's more confident. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like similar. He reads the game well in that position, I think, and he ain't got to rely on sort of a centre back partner to. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way it is at the moment. So yeah, 5. Mengi 5 as well.
Yeah, Mengi similar to Anderson for me. But I will go lower with the sense of 5. But in terms of the performance, yeah, similar. I mean, there was a moment where he actually done all right in the first half. Like it was, you know, he cleared it away, but it was a good clearance. But then dropped off again, and he has these moments. And then for me,
important moments, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look at the Cambridge game. He was. Did he play in that game? I'm not sure. Either way, it's a recent game. And this has been his continuation of his problem, right? He's getting caught like he's being too high up, which is then leaving us exploited. You know, he's not marking who he should be marking, and it's just like you say, Dad, his head's not there. And we said that, if his head is here for now until January, then, he can be good for us. But it's clearly not there. He needs to be dropped for the next game for me. Personally, I would be dropping him. And me personally, I would be going back to a back three because, like I say, we don't have the personnel to be putting someone at right back until at least Walters is back or Hakeem for me. Obviously, he can't play there. So yeah, until them two are back, I don't want to see a right back. I don't want to see someone playing right back again. To be quite honest with you, and I feel it's much more beneficial for now, especially in terms of the players we do have as the wing backs anyway. Obviously, they're going to bomb forward at times. So just go back to that. That's what I would be doing for the Northampton game. But yeah, like I say, Mengi disappointing. So he gets 5 from me. Paul's gone very low. He's gone 4.5. Can't blame you, mate, to be quite honest with you. And then moving on to Naismith. Again, I thought his crosses were good, but defending, yeah, not so great, not so great. And usually I see Naismith quite vocal. I didn't really see that in this game, if I'm going to be totally honest. So, yeah, not great from him. Not going to go as low as the others. I'll just give him a 6.
Yeah, so
There you go. Paul's gone with the same as well, a 6. And then moving on to Lamine, I said it on a watch along, pretty anonymous, if I'm going to be totally honest. I mean, like you said earlier, he hasn't really set the world alight at Luton, but I think he has had slightly better performances than that. But yeah, disappointing in this game. So I'm going with a 5.5 for Lamine.
5.
Yeah, there we go. Paul's gone 6.5 for Lamine. Moving on to Saville. Again, I've seen Saville have better games. I don't think it's terrible. I've just seen better games from him. He does need to be careful as well because he loves a yellow card. And like I say, if he gets one more, he will be suspended. But I can't remember how many more games, like for how many games. I don't know if it's just one or more. So he does need to be careful there, to be honest. And I'll be honest, like I say, I've seen better games from him. Like usually getting stuck in and, he's helping the team and stuff do that sort of defensive role. From midfield. But yeah, this game didn't really see that, if I'm going to be honest. So I'll just give him a 6.
Yeah, I'll give him 6. But the thing is, like, I don't think that worked. I think he's better being on a single on his own, being like CDM. And what people are forgetting is he's doing probably double the work that he should be fucking doing. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, that's why he's getting the cards, and that's why he's not he was involved in the penalty, I think, laying it off to Clark, but he's doing double the work for me. But he's going to be starting because he is the best at that in the team. No one else can do what he can do in that position for me. So it's just about getting the right shape. I don't think we'll go with that full formation again, personally. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, 6.
Yeah, I really hope not. Really, really hope not, to be honest. But yeah, no, I agree. He's definitely got to start. Obviously, based on our ratings, he's been one of our better players this year. And I agree. I think if he's by himself, that'd be much more beneficial because, he sort of knows what's what in terms of he'll have the defenders behind him. He knows who's behind him. And again, Lamine just didn't do nothing. So he basically was there by himself anyway, to be quite honest with you. And I've said loads of times, I feel we can be good in that, just in front of that defence, sort of mopping up essentially. But yeah, Paul has gone with a 6 as well. Moving on to Kadoa. I want to see Kadoa on the left. Like I say, if Morris is back for the next game, which I hope he is, I want to see Morris on the right and I want to see Kadoa on the left because we saw that cameo against Blackpool, how good he was on the left. Since then, he's been put on the right. And yes, he looked good as a right wing back on that right side. But in terms of that, where he is now, in this 4-2-3-1, he ain't really been effective for me. So yeah, for me, I would be putting him there. As for this game, like I say, not so great. I'll just give him a 6.
Yeah, same. He did have that shot early on, which was unlucky. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, he needs to be more on the wing rather than where he was. Maybe so does Ali, to be fair. But Ali had a lot more of the ball, a lot more opportunities to. If you are that slightly better player, when to lay it off properly. You know when to. Do you know what I mean? And it's just he just rushes at everything. Reminds me a little bit of Elijah last season before he got injured. So yeah, if we move on to him, I'll give Cadeau a 6.
Yeah. No, like I say, I want to see him on the left. Like I say, that cameo against Blackpool, I want to see that. Moving on to ALLI, we'll go over to ALLI. Yeah, like you said, though, he's trying too hard. I mean, I obviously got very, very frustrated with him on the watch long, and it's because what I've said about him going into the season. I admit it, partly because I didn't know we were going to get for a striker, but I obviously said it on the reaction as well. I thought it said he'd be our top goal scorer this year. He's been so disappointing, and yeah, I'm just getting sick of it now. It needs to be dropped again. It needs to be dropped again, like it was against Stevenage. And like I say, a massive belief I have is if, like I say, Shaden Morris is back, then I can actually see that. But if he's not, then probably not. But yeah, I mean, in terms of this game, yeah, awful, absolutely awful. I'm giving him a 5.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh, but yeah, 5.
Yeah, I mean, Paul's gone with the same. He's gone with a 5 as well. Yeah. See, I don't know with Elijah, man, because obviously it ain't going to be till like next year anyway, in terms of him coming back. But I just don't know. I just don't know if it makes a major difference. And that's nothing against him as a player. I just think the way we play, I just don't really see how it, confidence as well on top of that. We know he's a confidence player, and playing how we've been playing at the moment, I ain't going to give him a lot of confidence anyway. And I even look at, what I can judge from him, which is his last season for us. He missed some great chances in games, man. Like, I'm not sure personally, but we'll see. We'll see. Eventually, because like I say, it probably will be next year. But yeah, moving on to Clark, the best player by far, obviously won the penalty. Obviously, scored a penalty at Wembley as well. So, you'd have been confident in him stepping up for it, in my opinion. On the big stage, he's done it. And for me, I feel sorry for him. And like I say, if this continues, I think he'll be gone. I really, really do think he'll be gone. And again, I know he's been with the team for ages, so there might be that level of loyalty. But, players nowadays, if they continuation of rubbish and it's not down to him, I'd have, if we continue like this, I've no problems with him going. I'll be absolutely gutted. But yeah, that's how I see it. But yeah, in terms of his performance, best player for me, I'll give him a 7.5.
Best player for me, 7. Great shot. Unlucky. Obviously won the penalty, darting forward. And yeah, about him going. I mean, his contract runs out, I believe, in next summer. So if he was to get anything for him, it's going to be January. And, because of his age, and he's 30, but if he gets an offer from a championship club, gets his wages. I mean, he's probably on decent wages for us anyway. But if someone can better that and give him a 3-year contract somewhere, where Charlton, for instance, that wouldn't surprise me. But, fuck it. Just do a part exchange, get buried back, you know what I mean? Just at least he's able, it'll be more effective than some of the midfielders we got. But yeah, 7.
Yeah, no, he 100% would be. Yeah, fair enough. And then moving on to Wells, he gets the lowest rating from me out of the starting 11. Absolutely poor. Should have been off at half time. I said it on the watch long. And I'm saying it, he cost us. He cost us that game. I do not care if we still had another half. The confidence just went. There's not a lot of confidence in the team as it is. And then him doing them, the poor penalty. And then I just why pass it back in that position? I couldn't understand it. I could not understand it. I'll give him a 1 for starting.
No, I'll give him a 4. If he's going through personal problems, and I hope he gets through them.
Shouldn't be starting though.
Potentially, yeah. I was a little bit surprised he started on his own.
Yeah.
If there was 2 up front, could kind of understand, because I did call that for in a 4-4-2. You know, Yates and him. But yeah, he's not. He's not on his own. Nah, mate, it doesn't work. Yes, he was involved in a lot of touches and stuff in the first half. But from when he missed that penalty, or he was arguing with Gideon Kadua, you know, and then clattered into someone as well. Like his head was gone a little bit. Is that a test for Wilshere? Being younger than him, do you want to tell him? I know it sounds silly, but you know, he took him off 55 minutes anyway, something like that. Let's check.
Bit later on, because that was where I wanted to see the sub latest.
After the hour anyway. So, you know. But he is a good player. And a lot of people, like, you see a lot of comments about, yeah, with Sight, he's, you know, this, that, and the other. He was doing well last season.
Yeah, that's what's frustrating, though. Why is he not bringing that to us in a lower league?
Because, again, for me, it comes back to that he was expecting, same Keeley, same, you know, this team to be decent anyway. So they're providing the service. Do you know what I mean? Then he can just knock in the goals and that, and it ain't happened. There is a lot with that as well. But yeah, it's been a few poor performances from him. When you see, you know, who wasn't even on the bench, the young Gillingham guy, and things like that. So yeah, you've got to switch it up. I still believe he'll come good for us, but yeah, worst game this season for him.
Yeah, 100%. Joey says Clark 8. It's gone Wells 3. Paul's gone 3.5. Yeah, and then moving on to the subs, obviously Yates, I mean, tried to get in there at moments, but I'll just give him a 6.
Yeah, 6. You know, he looked more lively. He was sort of playing when we were playing it down on for an adult that position. His link-up play was pretty good at times, but then there was no one else there because we stuck with the one up front for a while, didn't we? Until we brought Nordas on in the 80th minute. They should have come on together for me, but it is what it is. But yeah, 6.
Yeah. And then moving on, obviously, to Nelson. Again, like you said earlier, I tried to have a few moments. Had a shot which weren't great, in my opinion. I'll just give him a 6 as well.
Yeah. Trying to get on the ball and that, but just got crowded out. And, you know, he's a young player. He should be having people there to, like, go, yeah, well done for that. Like lay it off to me. Like, do you know what I mean? That's not really happening. So it's kind of setting him backwards for me. And you've got to be careful, yeah. So until we are up and running, I'd just be putting him on the bench, I think. But yeah, 6.
Yeah. And then the last two, I'm just going to give a 6 because for me, they didn't have.
Yeah, they weren't terrible, but you could see where they get. You know,
it was a game where we needed to do the subs early to have any hope for me.
Yeah, all of them, in fact.
Yeah, the timing just didn't help for me, so I'll just give them both a 6. To be honest, but yeah, as the games go on, I want to see Nordos get more minutes. I really do because he's a lack of minutes a lot of times this season, and I just think, you know, in terms of creating for other players, I think it could be beneficial with that. I don't really think he's going to get, you know, loads of goals, but that's what we need. You know, we need goals, and I think him, you know, helping other players will do that. And I just think when you play Yates or Wells up front by themselves, it's not working. Not working. So yeah, I think we both agreed that a change in formation is needed for the Northampton game.
Yeah.
3-5-2. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, we could try and not one up now.
We do that. Let me just, I'll get it up. So basically, this could be our lineup that we'll go with for Northampton, guys. So everyone that's in here right now and watches on playback, you'll be able to see roughly what we will we'll go for. I'll just get it up 1 second. We'll do it based on obviously who we know is available, and then it might change obviously come Friday, as we might know, obviously, if some players are in and things like that. So let me just share my screen with you guys. Right, there we go. Just get rid of the ad. Right, there we go. Right. Well, there we go. So, in goal, obviously, it's going to be Keeley. So, we'll put Keeley in goal. Now, the three at the back, me personally, Dad, let me know if you'd agree. But right now, I'd put Makoso on the right of that.
Yeah.
I would put in the middle of that, I'd actually go Anderson for the game. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
And then obviously Naismith on the left of that, that back three. Oh. And then on the right, I would go. So this is interesting because
I'd go Kadua.
yeah. I would as well. Because we don't really know what we showed in Morris. So yeah, that's the only other player I'd probably debate right now. The left side. It's difficult. You could go Bramall. An underrated shout that not a lot of people would say. And do let me know in the chat. And I actually think he's better out wide when he's drifted out wide at his time at Luton. Is Nelson. That could be an option. Bramall. Yeah, I mean Bramall. Yeah, I could see that. Obviously, he's good at crossing the ball in as well. From open play, good at going forward
as well. He can cover back for Naismith. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would go. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that
because Naismith then could push forward a little bit more as well, like he does.
Yeah, okay, I wouldn't mind that. Him or Nelson, based on availability of what I know we've got right now. Obviously, the middle one of the midfield, you're going to go Saville. The right side of that midfield, you've got to go Clark for me. And then the other one, the other one's interesting. Who would you go with, Dad? Nelson?
Clark could be on the left side anyway.
Okay, who would you go with as the other midfielder then? I don't really think of Nelson really, or Lamine.
Give me a sec.
Let us know in the chat as well who you would go with, and also I am doing a poll, so do let me know as well on that as well. Who you would just let me know if you'd like to see it as well. But yeah, who would you guys put in? You got. You can put, for me, you can put Nelson there, Lamine. I don't really know who else, to be honest.
Nakamba.
Because of his lack of minutes, and I know he's played a lot of minutes for Zimbabwe, but I probably wouldn't. For this game.
But it has to be Nelson then, I guess. Or Lamine.
Yeah, I think...
I'll tell you what.
Go on.
Jake Richards.
Yeah, that's a good shout. It's interesting. Paul in the chat says Lamine. And what I will say about Lamine is when he's played...
in positions, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When we've played there, he's done well. So we'll go with Lamine. We'll go with Lamine for that one. And I would be open to that. Him or Nelson more so. Richards, I wouldn't mind, but I'd like to see him come on a little bit, a few more times before he starts, for me personally. And then the two up front, for me, we basically went through it. Nordos and Yates, I would go with.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory. They work well together. In brief spells when they have played up front together, and Nordos could be effective in the sense of helping Yates, I believe. So yeah, that's what we'd go with right now in terms of a lineup against Northampton based on who we know is available. Obviously, if more players are back, then I'm sure one or two things might change. But yeah, obviously Keeley in goal, Back three of Naismith, Anderson, Makoso, Bramall on the left, Kadoa on the right, Lamine, Saville, and Clark in the midfield. And then obviously Nordos and Yates. Do let us know what you make of that lineup as well. So yeah, that's that. What we do for that, and yeah, I just think you got to do it. You know, until we get Real Waters or Hakeem back, I just feel playing right backs there is not ideal. To be quite honest with you, but yeah, any final things, Dad, you'd like to say before we go as your camera appears again?
It will get better. You know, it can only get better now. I don't think we're in a bad situation, but I will say I have seen worse where but I don't feel it is starting to feel like last season, but we've just made that change, and I think that adjustment with the new staff as well will just kind of start filtering through, and next year is when we'll really kick on. I do believe that, especially after the January transfer window. So we've just got to kind of steady the ship a little bit, not desperately try and win games and that. Just get back into getting points on the board and being consistent, etc., keeping clean sheets. Do you know what I mean? And then build from there. Because I tell you, I've always believed it. Once the confidence is up, with some of the players we've got in that squad, they can, go on a proper good run. Because a lot of these players would get into a lot of other teams' first 11. Do you know what I mean? Although some people are like, they're crap. It's not there. It's just not working. They're not. Some of them want out, this, that, and the other. But some of them are definitely too good for this league. Do you know what I mean? Hence why we dominate possession. Do you know what I mean? With no end product or whatever, and they're just lapping it over the top and things like that. It's just that we can't play like this in this league. And that just really needs to be driven across. And that's why we hired Bloomfield. But he sort of did. It worked a little bit at times, but there was still that in the background, with the players not really fighting. Like, I wanted to move, man. How comes Doughty got to move, but I'm fucking still here? And things like that. Brown, I know he's injured. Fell through. But yeah, and it goes back to you got to question the recruitment a little bit, because sign very rarely. I don't think I've ever seen us do it before. He's signed so many players that are injured. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, Phil said this earlier. He's had enough.
Probably both good players, especially the Ipswich lad, El Hamadi. He will be fresh as soon as he comes back. I think he'll hit the ground running. Personally, I really do. But I don't know. I guess you can take that risk with some players if you really believe in them. But it puts a lot of pressure on him when he does come back. Like I say, I think he'll come through. But I don't think, that's going to be interesting, because this is where I see players' mentalities. Because he's signed, eager again, done well at Rotherham, coming into a team that's suspected to get promoted, etc. Maybe it's good that he has been injured. You know what I mean? To be fair, because he hasn't been involved on the pitch, and he's probably itching to get out there, and that's what we were waiting for with certain players as well. And they do come back from injury. Jones, Elijah, who else is there? Johnson, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? We felt he'd be an integral part of our team this season at left back. But unfortunately, he got that injury, didn't he? So I reckon he would have been pretty good. Don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, no, so when you went to recruitment team, I was going to the comment Phil said earlier. Yeah, he's had enough. And I can't blame him. I mean, yeah, the frustration of signing players when they're injured. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly, as much as the El Hamadi one's annoying and things like that, I'm pretty sure the Dothan one, might be a issue outside of football, if I'm correct. So that one, is fair enough if that's the case. But the others, yeah, I totally agree. Why do that? It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. And obviously people would like to see more money spent in terms of on the squad. I mean, I don't really mind that as such. It's just getting the right players in. And let's be honest. Let's be honest now. In this summer window, most of the signings we've done, on paper, they look like good signings. And, when you allude back to our squad, that video you mentioned on TikTok where that person said we probably still get playoffs is down to the squad, because we have a good squad when you look at it. And I do agree, we do have a good squad. There's holes we didn't fill for me, left back and right back.
Recent video, by the way. It was a recent video, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wilshire.
Yeah, which is a shambles that we didn't address the left back and the right back for me, or at least one of them. If not both, let me know what you think. But yeah, in terms of the overall, they should be performing better now. Like, I'm not here, like I said earlier, I'm not hearing this new player thing. Been at the club, we're nearly quarter of the way through a season. They've got to be performing better. And yeah, I don't know where it gets better, to be quite honest with you. And again, I know we all were wanting a change in formation to the 4, but I think with not having a natural right back there, you have to go back to the 3. I just think it's going to be more beneficial personally, and things like that. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this week. One thing I will say, I did like the press conferences were back on Fridays instead of Wednesdays. That was very weird when they were Wednesdays under Bloomfield. Don't know why that was. So hopefully this week's is on Friday again. And then obviously we can talk about it on the Hat Show. Players back, our lineup that we've done. Obviously if players are in or some are out, and our luck probably might be some more injuries during the week. Then yeah, obviously we'll do a lineup again and things like that. So yeah, but basis of what to expect from us. We both said we would go over 3. And then, yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in to this show, whether you've watched now or on playback. Do smash a like. Do the poll as well that I have done. Obviously, Northampton do play tomorrow, so I'm debating still watch along to that, given that we do play them on a weekend. So if that is the case, I'll be back again tomorrow. And then, obviously, we'll be back again on Friday to preview the Northampton game. And then, obviously, I will be at the Northampton game. So there will be a match reaction from myself. Mike said he'll do a match reaction as well, so it'd be good to have him back on the channel, talk about Luton, and then yeah, there might be a vlog as well, depending on how I'm feeling, to be honest, regarding the game. So yeah, and then obviously I know we're seeing each other later on in the day, Dad. Oh well, and before, to be fair. So yeah, there's a good boxing fight on birthday as well, so that's always good. Looking forward to that, and hopefully if Luton don't get the result, then I can actually look forward to the boxing. So yeah, but yeah, don't forget to smash a like, guys. Like I say, do subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. Do follow me across all my socials. Do subscribe to the X channel, and yeah, join the Discord as well if you haven't already. And yeah, like I say, I might do a watch along tomorrow. I might do a poll tomorrow day, seeing if you guys do want to see it. So yeah, do let me know as well. And yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. So yeah, until next time, Friday, if not tomorrow from myself, Friday from my dad. We will see you guys in a bit. So yeah, till then, take care and peace.